Hey guys, welcome back to the channel again. I'm so glad to see the engagement and the amount of people watching the LookUP verse series. I'm really excited to see how God is using it in so many different people's lives. This week we have Bill in Asia. He is gonna actually do a two-parter. So part one will be this week and it'll be about the Sauls in our life. And he compares Saul to the destroyer. And he kind of goes through the 5 tactics of what Saul the destroyer does, so that it gives you more information to better equip yourself to deal with the Sauls in your life. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. Next week will be about David the deliverer. That'll be part 2. So to make sure that you guys are up to date and keeping up with these 2 videos and the rest of the series, please click below, hit subscribe, click the bell so that you know right when a new video is up. But without taking any more time, I hope you guys enjoy this week's LookUP verse series episode, and stay tuned for each Sunday for the next ones. Thanks.
Hey guys, my name is Bill, and I want to thank Unbounded Pursuit for this opportunity to share with you guys. First of all, let me do a quick introduction. My name is Bill. I live in Northeast Asia. You can see it gets really cold where I live, and it's snowing out right now. And behind me is the river that divides the city. There's probably a meter thick of ice on this river right now. Usually the river is full of activity, but we've had some issues recently in this country, and a lot of people are, well, almost everybody is staying inside and not interacting. This is one of my favorite places in the city. I live in a concrete jungle of 9 million people, so it makes it very difficult to find outdoor things to do. I love hunting and fishing and camping, baseball, all the outdoor sports. And so living in this city, sometimes it's really hard to find good spots, but this is one of my favorite. Anyway, I want to share with you something that I learned from a guy named Colin Smith recently. 1 Samuel chapter 22. Colin Smith makes this comparison between David and Saul, and I think maybe this might have to be a 2-parter, but I want to share the first part with you about Saul the destroyer. Colin Smith talks about how David is a deliverer and how Saul is a destroyer. And Colin Smith shares 5 tactics that are used by destroyers to ruin things. And I've had a lot of people like Saul in my life, and I just never understood why they did what they did, said what they said, thought what they thought. It was so baffling to me. But after listening to this lecture by Colin Smith, I think I'm much better equipped in the future to deal with people that he labels as destroyers. So let me share the 5 tactics with you, and I got my notes here so I don't get them wrong. The first one is intimidation. In verse 6, we read that Saul is there talking with his servants, and he's holding his spear. This is an unspoken threat. He's used his spear before, and he'll use it again, and he's intimidating people with it. The second tactic is obligation. Verse 7, we read that he reminds the people that he gave them fields and vineyards and orchards. And so he didn't give those gifts out of kindness and love, but he gave them to keep these people on a leash, to make them feel obligated, and to get them to do things that he wanted them to do. The third tactic is accusation, which is verse 8. He makes an accusation that has no foundation. He is so consumed with chasing David and destroying David that he thinks David is doing exactly the same thing. And we know that destroyers do this. They often think they're very paranoid, right? They think everybody's out to get them. The fourth tactic is manipulation. In verse 8, he says, Saul says, "Are none of you sorry for me?" I mean, can you imagine this coming from the mouth of a king? It's almost absurd to think about, but he's manipulating them with his words. And then the fifth tactic is misrepresentation. 85 priests are in front of Saul, and he takes the truth, he takes some truth, and he makes false assumptions, and he mixes those together, and he comes to false conclusions. So he misrepresents the truth because he mixes it with false with false accusations, and because of that, 85 priests lose their lives that day, and he sacks that village, men, women, and children. He utterly destroys that village. And it's really sad when we look at David. We compare David and Saul. David the deliverer and Saul the destroyer. So these 5 tactics really opened my eyes up and helped me to see how destroyers or why destroyers do what they do and say what they say. And I think in the future I'll be much better equipped to deal with these kinds of people. And maybe this can be a 2-parter. I can also share what Colin Smith talks about David, what he shares about David, and how David is a deliverer. But again, thank you very much for this opportunity, and God bless you guys.
Hey guys, thank you for watching Bill's video, part 1, dealing with the Sauls in your life. Next week, remember, he's going to do part 2, David the deliverer. I'm really excited to see what he has to say and give that episode to you guys. So stay tuned. Keep watching, keep sharing these videos. Let's reach more and more people with the gospel of Jesus. Thanks again, and have a good week.